Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. It's Friday, and as I said on the tweet, the boy band is back in town. So, guys, as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're going to be talking all things Manchester United. Welcome. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. I am Solo, and as always, well, not as always, I'm joined by Mr. B. How you doing, sir? You all right?
I'm good, stranger.
Stranger danger, isn't it? On Monday, sir, it's been a long time as well.
Yeah, don't say as usual, because me and Mr. B have been holding up for, while you two, Jay and Solo, are like newbies around here. You know, we like to see your face around here, so don't act like we're not here all the time. We're here every day. Where have you been?
See how it changes. See how it used to be. Jay, thanks for coming on the channel. Enough love. Honestly, Jay, the support you've given the channel, I can't thank you enough. And now, I start off my introduction is me getting told off. My introduction is not, we're so grateful and pleased to have Jay from Stretford Paddock. It's, where have you been? Don't be giving me all this usual thing about yours coming on this channel. I ain't seen your face around here for weeks. How times have changed.
Yeah, it's been a long time, Jay. It's been.
I missed the good old days when Errol used to message me saying, "I'm a big fan of your work, Joe."
Oh, now it's like we're the part-timers now, Jay, and these two are the full-timers on the channel.
Listen, man, it's all good. The channel keeps growing, and credit to you all, man. I always love coming on this channel, so well done, big up yourself.
Jay, where's your Fred Cup?
I've got a different one today. Can you see that?
Oh yes, I do. Yeah.
Roy Divisions.
Yeah, it's. We can't sell them though because we haven't got the copyright. So, so it's just for use in my house, my own little personal use. They're not available on any website that I can point you to, unfortunately.
Absolutely amazing. So how's everyone? How you been, Jay? How's the running going?
Yeah, I got the Manchester 10K on Sunday. Looking forward to that. So it's going all right. Yeah, it's good, man. I've had to change my diet a little bit. I won't get into with all my medical issues. Do you know what I mean? It's not that kind of thing. You asked me a little question. You don't need my doctor's note. But yeah, I'm cutting down on the sugar. But that's all we need to know.
It's funny you say that. There's I heard a joke this week about a man went to the doctors and said the doctor said he needs a pacemaker. So now he's got an Ethiopian runner jogging alongside. Anyway, it's crushing.
Anyway, thanks for subscribing. Don't forget to hit that like button. And we'll be back next week. I thought my dad jokes were bad, but you take this there one day, honestly.
Oh yeah. Also, Jay, if you didn't know this, you're gonna know this now. We played a friendly recently, football Liverpool channel versus our channel, and Mr. B was manning it. Well, Mr. B, literally, no word of lie, he scored a screamer, but he won't take credit for it.
Killer,
really,
killer, yeah. Absolute killed them. Wing play like Giggs in his prime. Drove into the box, cut into his right foot, buried it in the bottom left corner against a semi-pro goalkeeper who's well known in these areas. Mr. B
gave him the eye. Mr. B gave him the eye, innit?
Mr. B was man of the match, yeah.
I was the best player on our side. We lost 3-2, so we're not going to say I was man of the match.
I was going to say, what was this under 10s? Was this, yeah?
It was under 70s. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
Under 70s.
Listen, I've not played five-a-side in a while, to be fair.
No, it was 11.
11?
Yes.
Right, you managed to get 11. So this was against the Liverpool channel?
Yeah,
he said, he said raw 11.
11? I was like, what?
Yeah, 11 aside.
Like, how many people are on this channel? Like 11 aside, you've got like 22 of you for the two channels. Bro, I've been doing this for like 10 years. And if we got everyone on our channel, we'd be struggling for 7 aside. You have got 22 people. Like, yeah, don't worry about that.
Jay, to be honest with you, they've been saying it for ages because I'm saying, I don't want to really play because I don't want to get injured because I'm doing my exam, I'm doing this. I just got told to shut up and just turn up. I turned up to it, yeah, and I sat there thinking, just like you, Jay, right? It's going to be like narrow pitches and, you know, just a little kickabout. Straight away here, it's a full-size pitch. I'm like, what? No one told me it's full-size pitch.
One of my claims to fame is I got substituted after 10 minutes by Alan Kirbishley once in a charity game because I was right back and I'm not a right back and I was up against the left winger who was about 18 and he had I couldn't even foul the kid. I was trying to foul him while missing him.
Oh, well, rings bells, doesn't it, Errol?
Yeah,
Errol, didn't that ring bells for you? Errol's right back. You were right back, weren't you? Yeah. And you were up against the winger who drove into the box, stepped over.
I gave a penalty.
We said, stand up. We said, stand up. And you put your foot out and gave way. Mr. B knows.
Errol, against the Liverpool channel as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, you didn't tell me this before. Come on tonight. I would have said I was busy. Like, what? Seriously. That's disgusting. Come on.
And here's our right winger as well. All the way from Birmingham, he came down. So
Mayhem
big up. Yep, came down as well. So yeah, no, it was really good. It was nice. It was a nice event. It was in aid of sort of it's sort of like a charity game. So it was quite nice. It's nice. And
you sure about that? You seem a bit vague.
Nice. No,
it was a charity game in aid of I need some holiday money.
Yeah, you know what though, Jay? It's because we're lost, and it's the way we lost the game as well. We're 2-0 up with about 5 minutes to go. And
seriously?
We lost 3-2. Yeah, and we lost 3-2.
What was you giving away the penalty to turn him?
No. The goalkeeper, thanks to Caspar, who's on the channel, he saved the penalty, so it was brilliant.
Oh, right, okay.
Caspar saved the penalty.
Not to be funny, but like when you were filming there, or you said to them, because we didn't know what it was for. You talk about the charity, and you said, "So what's it for?" And they said, "I was for someone called Ogsy or Pigsy or something." And you started laughing. He said, "No, he died."
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't realize.
You were laughing about it.
Yeah.
Why were you laughing?
Because I didn't know. I just turned up.
Well, hang on a minute. Whoa. We need to recap. You asked what charity is for. They named the charity and you started laughing.
No. I just said
name. I was there at the time. It was a funny name. And I was about to laugh. Rob, he started laughing. They said, "No, this is the guy."
I'm not bad. I'm not the only one. The Monday was going to laugh as well. But I didn't realise.
I know he's trying to throw him under the bus. He was going to laugh too. It wasn't just me.
No, I didn't realise it was after, once the presentation was given, it was actually someone passed away. I didn't realise that was his nickname.
Right, okay. Well, that's probably why you lost 3-2. They were probably raging with that. They were like, we've got to do this guy.
To be honest with you, the referee was a Liverpool fan, I think. She gave a penalty standing at the halfway line. So, yeah.
Really?
And it was never a penalty. That was never a penalty. Never.
What? Where was this at? Where did you play?
We played
at
Rangers
Lane Football Club.
Where's that? Sorry.
It's West London. It's like they're in one of the minor leagues.
What? So the Scouts are the actual Scousers? They came down for that as well.
No, Scousers are in London.
There is.
Mr. B's brother and all the boys, you know. Tell Stuart Howson we want his team next.
Pardon? His name, by the way, his name's Stephen, and no.
Oh,
because anybody who's under...
Is whatever Errol's got contagious over there, or what are you lot? Or are you smoking something? Tell Stuart Howson. Stuart Howson. Didn't he used to be an Arsenal assistant manager? Yeah, Stuart Houston. Do you know what I mean?
Don't tell him that.
Hey, that was like a terrible Kevin Keegan rant. You can tell him from me. Tell Stuart Howson.
I don't know his name.
We've got a game actually. We've got a game, a charity game next week. FC United Legends against a Celebrity 11 for a statue of Len Johnson, who's a boxer. He used to fought 100 years ago in Manchester, and he was an amazing boxer, and he won over 90 fights. But because there was a colour bar for British fighters there, if you had one black parent, you couldn't fight for a British title. And he beat them all. He beat Roland Todd. He beat Ted Kid Lewis. He beat everyone. But he was never allowed to be British champion. So we're campaigning for a statue of him in Manchester because he would have been British champion. He would have been a world champion. He beat world champions as well. Had he been given that sort of stepping stone, becoming British champion first. So, yeah, we've got a charity game. Anthony Croller's on it. Andy Burnham the Mayor's on it. Kai from Love Island, my pals on it. A load of people, some from Waterloo Road, Coronation Street, all them types of people. I think Ricky Hatton's coming down, and me and Steve are going to be like managing the celebrity team. Then it's FC United legends as well. So looking forward to that because it's for a great cause, and yeah, it's going to be good. And the best thing about it is I'm not playing. I'm just standing next to Stuart Howson while he shouts at people. Stuart Howson. Stu, tell him. What do you mean your name's Steve? Tell him anyway.
Is it televised? Can we we can get to watch?
No, well, I think it's going to be getting filmed, so we'll probably put the highlights out there or something. I definitely want to get it out there because yeah, it should be a laugh. I went down to they had a training session the other day, and they're actually all right. You know, like it's a decent standard. I'm glad I'm not playing because I think I'd get shown up. To be honest with you, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, brilliant! And this is our goalkeeper, Casper. Big up, Casper. He's saying, you know, yeah. On Monday, before we kickstart the show, though, would you mind just going through some of the comments, please? I say kickstart the show.
Are you really going to do that too? You dropped him right in this shit,
all right.
boy.
HG Game is saying, who makes a deadline for something and nearly a month later we're still listening to offers? This makes me think the Glazers want to sell the club to Qatar. Obviously, that's the subject today. I want to say hi to Charlie. Is that Jali? Charlie, how you doing, man? Welcome to the channel. He says, the only good news I can say, the Glazers are in some economic problems. They do have to sell the club to solve it. Didn't know that. That sounds good. Ola Kunle, how you doing, man? Liverpool fan. Sir Jim and Qatar will lose the bidding for control of Man United. Joe and Avram will win as the other two bidders haven't reached the 6 million required. He must have inside information. I want to say hi to Bart, another Liverpool fan. They're all tuning in today. It says, as a neutral, you hate us. Having another nation state own the club isn't good for football. Yeah, we've heard that one before many times. Big up to Bath Time, Vaughan. How you doing? Solo in it. He's in his sportswear. He's saying here, Ed Mayhem, obviously, he was playing in the charity game as well. Said they're taking a piss of what we're doing here. We talk about us or the Glazers. I don't know. Reg Devil Studio saying big up to the panel. How you doing, man? Bath Time seen the title. And he said always believe in Phil Jones. He said that for a long time now. And that we'll be talking about him later. For a 10K run, it's vital to have nipple protection. This is from someone who runs a lot. The Bath Time does do running every morning. So there's some advice for you, Jay. Miko, how you doing? Long time no see. And Angeline, how you doing? The Glazers want out. Even if the Jim is offering 6 billion, he has no right. He has no money right now. The Glazers would rather go for Qatar, who are offering 5.6 billion cash. Mr. Riggs, how you doing? He says, how you doing, lads? I'm here for Big J. It's a Liverpool fan from the supermarket in Eccles. Do you know who that is?
Someone tweeted me saying they saw me in the supermarket in Eccles, so I think that might be that lad.
Okay, big up to Ty Williams. Good evening. He says, I hope sale can be concluded soon. It's dragged on far too long. Qatar is my choice, as they're the only ones who can make good on their promises. Matthew Bassett, how you doing? Rebel as well. Very Rebel. The Backstreet Boys are back. Phil Portini as well. How you doing? And Stuart Marshall was on yesterday. And obviously Casper. How you doing, Casper? We spoke about you earlier. Great goalkeeper and a great referee of Sunday leagues. Just got his license. You got your certificate for level 6 now, haven't you? So he's worked his way up the ranks. Big up Casper. Big up Emma as well. And just an update here from the rumour mill. Rebel saying the rumours are the Glazers are going to do a full sale now, so the Rats will be gone.
So the topic, obviously, of the show today, Jay, is about the media, and is there a biasness as well towards Sir Jim Radcliffe? Guys, there is a poll I did put up earlier, so make sure you get involved within it as well. And at the end of the show, we want to find out if it's yes or no, not a 1 or 2. So Jay, this whole thing with media bias, I've been on the channel for a long time. What I've done, I've taken sort of obviously a step back, studying and things like that. But listening to some of the reports, reading newspapers and things like that, it's almost like the British media would prefer a Sir Jim Radcliffe over the Qatar bid. Do you think it's like a media bias, and for what reason is that for?
I think there's been a bit of a hypocrisy with some of the media coverage of the Qatari bid. I don't know if there's a bias. I think there's some that seem to be edging towards Sheikh Jassim and sort of maybe praising his bid a little bit more. There's some that are praising Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I don't think praising is the right word. I think most of the sort of attitudes towards it being whether newspapers are highlighting one bid over the other or saying one bid is going to be successful over the other. We've seen a little bit of that, but I think they're just following whichever way the news goes, to be honest with you. One thing I will say about the Sheikh Jassim bid, the hypocrisy has been sort of evident. We've seen it in a few newspapers where you've spoken about Manchester City's ownership, praising it, praising their sort of ruthlessness, the way they've gone about it, almost ignoring the fact they got these 115 charges against them for cheating. And the amount of money they spent, and the fact it's sports washing and it's an oil state and it's all this other stuff, and yet saying on the same token it would be bad for football if Qatar took over Manchester United. Now, you might think it would be bad for football if Qatar took over Manchester United, but you can't praise Abu Dhabi owning City and then criticise Qatar coming in for United. Those two things don't make any sense. So I think there's been a little bit of that. I don't know if there's necessarily been a sort of pro Sir Jim Ratcliffe element from the media. If there has, I haven't really seen it. I think there's been stories that he's the preferred bidder or he's going to win. And then there's been other stories saying Qatar's going to be the preferred bidder and they're going to win. So there just seems to be a little bit of briefing, some leaks coming out probably from the various camps. I don't necessarily think there's a majority of support for Ratcliffe. And also, he's took some pelters as well from the media, from this idea that he could do he could buy 50% and allow the Glazers to stay in as minority shareholders. A lot of the media have realised the fans won't be happy about that, so have criticised him. We had Henry Winter from the Times on the channel earlier on in the week, probably the most prominent football writer in Britain, and he was quite critical of that idea. He wasn't anti-Jim Ratcliffe, but he said if he did do a deal with the Glazers that kept them on, he thought that would be a terrible idea. And we've seen other journalists call it out as well. So, yeah, I think it's a bit of 6 of one, half dozen of the other, to be honest with you. It depends who you read. There's certain papers I just don't read, and maybe they're the ones that you're referring to. But I think the only thing that's really annoyed me has been the hypocrisy. It's like, City are wonderful. City are the best team ever. City are going to win a lot. City are doing great. Their ownership has been unreal. Look how ruthless they are. Look how much they've got right. Look how much they've transformed that club. But we can't have Manchester United being owned by a state because that would be terrible. That's just hypocritical, man. You can't have it one way and not the other.
Yeah. Again, Mr. B, I'm going to come to you now with it. Like Jay just said, the point is where City's getting praised. City is on the way for a treble at the moment. And again, this is a media spin, how fantastic, how great City is, probably going to be the best probably team ever in Premier League history. But yet there's a stumbling block over Manchester United being state-owned.
Yeah, but we know what the deal is. They're dreading the day that United become great again. They are. We know what the media coverage was then, and we never had Twitter and Instagram, and I don't know if we had Facebook. I have no idea then. But it's going to cause a chaos. We're huge already, and it's Man City are now becoming a team that young kids support because they keep on winning. But it's not historical. My son has no choice, and that's how I want it to be. And that's how it should be. You want to talk about Juve, fine, they're Italian. But when it comes to the Prem, if you mention another team, there's chaos in the house. So that's how it's supposed to be. I think that we're a legacy club. We're going to be a legacy club. They talk about legacy supporters, but it's passed down. It's not just Manchester. It's worldwide. It's Australia. We've got, Mark Edmund in Australia. Same thing. He didn't have a choice. So there's a lot of favoritism going on at the moment. But we will be back, and it's going to be a lot sooner than later, I feel.
And Armando, with it, any thoughts on this as well regarding obviously the media with the spin on it? I don't even know who I was listening to. I was listening to someone on Sky Sports the other day as well, and the way they were making it out, this whole thing with Man United being taken over was going to be so bad if the Qatar comes in to take over from it.
Bob Marley wrote a tune called Hypocrites. See the hypocrites, them a galang where chat about every, you know the tune there. Wicked tune. And it's right. I mean, with the media, it's so much biasness, as you said, when we spell it right. There's so much biasness in the media about things. They can sway opinion. It's so powerful, So when you hear people repeating stuff, especially with football's massive in the media as well. So you hear a lot of fans repeating stuff, which they've heard from the media, from a journalist. and that can steer someone's opinion on things. Like the other day, for example, there's Ivan Toney. There was a backlash on him. He's been done for betting, for example, and everyone's making jokes and cussing him. But then someone else came out and said, well, let's look at it from a different direction and say, is he a victim here of the betting kind of thing? Because you got teams promoting betting and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of hypocrisy with everything with the media. You have to have an open mind and sort of oversee things and really get an understanding of what's really going on. So when they're talking about swaying opinion, whether it's going to be Ratcliffe, whether it's going to be Qataris, you hear a lot of some nasty stuff said about the politics and all this kind of thing. It shouldn't come into it. What's best for Man United is the most important thing. Everyone wants to take a stand for something, and a lot of people make a stand for something, don't stand for nothing, actually, because you ask them a question about their politics, what they believe in, and they don't know. They only can repeat things that they've been taught by the media. Government means mind in government, so they govern your mind, and the media the same way. They govern how you think and what you say, and it's very powerful. So people, beware, be careful.
Yeah. Jay, you did mention something earlier regarding obviously the Radcliffe takeover as well. I'm sitting there unless I can't get my head around how this whole thing would work with the 51% stake where he'll hold at Manchester United. Now, if the stadium needs redoing, we need new players, the Glazers still holding the percentages. Will the Glazers be putting their hands in their pocket to help Radcliffe, or is Radcliffe's going to be paying all the money for this transfer and redoing the stadium up as well? Because for me, logically, what Radcliffe's doing, for me, doesn't make any sense at all.
I think the idea of the 50% thing, and I think I'm not an expert, would be with a view to eventually buying them out. You got to remember when the Glazers took over, they didn't just come in and buy United straight away. They bought it off, was it JP McManus and the other kid? What's his name? Is it Magnus?
Magnus.
Yeah, the two owners, they bought shares here, there, and everywhere until eventually the minority shareholders were issued with a compulsory purchase order. I knew lads that owned a bit of United. United used to be, owned by the fans. You could own a bit of Manchester United. When we won the treble, I knew people that had shares in that. You could tell your grandkids, I own a bit of that club. But then the Glazers got over the threshold, and then they had the compulsory purchase order where they got to buy the rest. So I think it would be a view to that. I don't think it'd be he's just going to stop at the 50 and that's it forever. I think that would be the first step, and then in 2 to 4 years, he'd buy the other 19%. I think also if he bought 50%, he'd want the controlling shares, the voting shares, so he'd be in control. So just as you've got 30% of the shares now, or 31% of the shares now, are not owned by the Glazer family, those people that own those 31% don't have any say in the running of the football club. The Glazers do. So I think it'd be a similar situation. Again, I'm not an expert, but that's how I think it'd work. He'd have enough to make the decisions. And if you're asking the question, would he then invest in the team? Would he invest in the stadium? I don't know. I assume he would. I assume he would have some sort of plan and desire to move the club forward, because that was the noises we were hearing before he took over. People forget, man. Before he before he was, he announced his bid. Before the Qatar bid came in, and before that was clear, most people I spoke to wanted Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He was like the guy everyone was going, we need Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, get him in. He's Britain's richest man. He's a Manchester United fan. I remember doing a live video last year when he was doing a Q&A for Ineos. He was doing an Ineos Q&A, and he got asked about United. That's why we covered it on the channel. And all the comments in our chat were, we need Sir Jim, we need this, we need him to come in, because people thought he was going to come in and sort of get United challenging again. So I would be surprised if he just wants to buy United, own us, and then see us continuing to decline. That would be pretty shocking to me. And there's a recent report from, I think, the Sunday Times Rich List that he's worth 29.688 billion. So he should have money to spend. In actual monetary terms, he's worth more than Sheikh Jassim. It's just Sheikh Jassim, no matter what you say, he has got access to that Qatari Wealth Fund, because if he hasn't, he can't afford Manchester United, because he's only worth 1.2 billion. So he must have access to that fund. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. The question is he going to go the whole hog and pay what the Glazers want? Or is Sir Jim? Or are we going to end up seeing more and more bids, or this peter out? I don't know. But yeah, I'd be shocked if Sir Jim Ratcliffe just wanted to buy United just to say he owns us. I think that'd be terrible. We need someone who's going to come in and spend some money, and I'd expect him to do that.
No, thank you. Mr. B? Can't hear you.
It's muted.
Oh.
Right. I'll apologize for that. And you can apologize for just dumping me with what you said, Mr. B. What?
Oh,
You
okay.
asked thank you.
Okay, so I was going to say, did you want to touch on anything what Jay said there with the whole Radcliffe situation? Obviously, him coming in, United, most United fans wanted him until sort of the Qatari money came in. But also, is it a sort of, what I was trying to get at is, if he comes in and he only buys 51% stake, will sort of the Glazers sort of, how that would work with the Glazers and about the investment infrastructure at Manchester United?
I don't know about all of that. What I will say is that if he's coming in and he's still siding with the Glazers, that's a no-no already. If the Qataris did it and said that they were still going to side with the Glazers, it would still be a no-no. Everybody wants them out. So the fact that they're still saying, I see his bid as a non-starter with the fans. I say that with the fans, but then obviously, you know, there's other opinions as to whatever and why they would side with this person and why would side. My opinion is if that he's still in line in bed with the Glazers, even if it's for 6 months, it's a no-no for me. Just get them all out.
Monday, get them out, or would you be happy for the long haul?
Listen, we've been talking about media bias and all that kind of thing. Glazers are worth a lot of money, that's for sure. And they still don't have the power to turn around opinion. The opinion of the Glazers right now is the lowest it's ever been. And that's probably why they want to sell up and get out as well, because they're not liked, they're not loved. And all we want in this world, everyone wants to be loved. Regardless, you could be the billionaire or whatever. You still want that love. You still want to turn up the stadium and not have to security around you. You know, wouldn't that be lovely? You know, where you have all the fans chanting your name and thing. That's what every owner would ideally want. But they haven't got the power to turn the media and make themselves look good. It's been that bad, you know. So I think, you know, when it comes to Ratcliffe and the Qataris, everyone's got their own opinion. Everyone can form their own opinion. But at least we know it's a two-horse race. And I think they should reveal any, you know, having this discussion about it. Having shows like this is great because you learn so much about the ins and outs of what's gone on, where they got their money from, if they're dirty. We need to know. We need to know. And then I think rather than like mainstream media, this is a great platform for us, you know, normal guys, apart from Jay, he's a superstar, but normal guys like us to come along and just, without being biased, and give our opinion, and the people in the comments who are coming with some great insight as well, give your opinion and share information, because maybe the information is not being shared so much with mainstream media. So I'm glad we got this platform to actually chat without any sort of bias. No, they're not paying us. We're not in their pocket. So we can talk what we want, and any information comes out, just discuss it. So at the moment, I would say, based on what we've heard and all the information, I'm not very good at this, but I would say, let's go with the Qataris. They seem like they got cash, they got money, and they could probably do a good job in restoring our club, the training ground, the stadium, getting things fixed up nicely, clean, tidy, a total refurbishment. And that's what we need right now. With the other stuff, with the we talk about bringing the Glazers in, with the Ratcliffe deal and keeping them around. Obviously, with their reputation so bad, that's not really stinking up the place, that kind of talk. And most fans are like, nah, we don't want none of that. So Ratcliffe should steer far from that. And if this information is being leaked, however, that he's still involved with them and doing deals with them, then he's not very wise. He should sort of stay away from that sort of stuff. Because right now, the Qataris, seems to me, with most fans, seem to be the favourites.
Jay, talking about obviously the ownership of Manchester United as well. At the moment, it just seems like it's all over the place. Like 1 minute you have, right, they've put in the third bid, the fourth, then all of a sudden this other bid comes in, then probably come next week, there's going to be another bid. What is this doing for the team, morale, and also for the future of the transfers that's coming up as well? Because the transfers aren't around the corner. The
I don't know what it's
opening soon.
I don't know what it's doing for team morale. I don't know how much of an effect it'd have on the team, to be honest with you. But I think in terms of transfers, it's definitely going to have an effect. If you don't know what your budget is going to be, because you don't know who your owner is going to be, and you don't know how much money they're going to give you, then that's going to sort of hamstring you when you want to make bids and you want to make approaches or make plans for certain players. United have been linked with players that cost a lot of money. We've been linked with Harry Kane, who could cost 100 million quid. We've been linked with Kim Min-jae, who could cost 50 odd million quid. You need to know what your budget is. If your budget isn't known, and you can't go to Spurs and say, we'll give you 100 million for Harry Kane. You can't go to Napoli and say, we'll give you 50 odd million for Kim Min-jae, because you don't know if you've got that money. So in the meantime, someone else could come in. Liverpool could come in and say to Napoli, we do know our budget. We have got 55 million. We'll give it you. So Napoli say, right, okay, we'll do the deal. We're not going to wait around for Manchester United. Similar to Harry Kane at Spurs. Spurs could offer him a new contract or whatever. And he could sit around and say, well, I don't know if United are going to have the money to come in for me. So I may as well sign a new deal with Spurs, or maybe Bayern Munich or whatever come in for him. There was talk of that, weren't there, earlier in the season. So yeah, definitely affects the transfer targets and the transfer plans for the summer, because you don't know how much money you're going to have. Yes, you might have some money where you can go, look, I know if I sell a certain amount of players, I'll have that budget. But let's be honest, Manchester United can have a clear out. We could sell a lot of players and still not have enough to buy the players we need to buy to compete with the likes of Manchester City. So this is just like a final insult from the Glazers, to be honest with you. When they wrote that statement in November, I think it was, there was plenty of time to get this deal over the line, to get this done before the transfer window approached. We could have had this done at the end of March. It could have been settled, bids come in, we make a decision, maybe the second round of bids, that's it, done, move on, sell. But now we're hearing noises that there might be more bids. We still don't know which is the preferred. They've still not decided amongst themselves. Don't forget, these aren't savvy businessmen and women. These are idiots. These are spoiled brats who inherited the club off the dad. Malcolm Glazer, who I had no time for when he was alive, leveraged all his debt, bought Manchester United, and then died and left it to the Glazer siblings. So they're not like particularly intelligent. They just got rich and got lucky because daddy gave them a football club. So they don't know what they're doing. They never have done. And even now, we're seeing their incompetence when they've got a club that's worth so much. They're being offered more than what we're actually worth, and they're still not taking it because they still can't decide if they want to sell. It's truly pathetic.
Yeah, Jay, good. That's brilliant what you just said there. Mr. B, with what Jay just said, obviously the decision, can't make the decision right now. We've got quite a lot of players coming out of contract at Manchester United at the moment. Is it going to be one of these ones where the Glazers can't get their act together and we're going to be re-signing some of these players who we technically know probably isn't Man United players, but we just got to have sort of whatever is being given to us?
I'm hoping Ten Hag has got some influence over that. We can't just be signing players for the sake of signing players. We've already done that. I said we'll talk about somebody who signed a contract and didn't play for ages, probably in the next couple of minutes or so. But no, I'm not really into that. That's old school United. I would like to think that Ten Hag's got a say in whether or not these players are signed, and if they are signed, then it's going to be a football decision and not a business and financial decision.
Yeah, with that as well, OMONDI, it's is it a case of like what Mr. B said? He listened to Ten Hag over the last few weeks. It's almost like he's making noises, but it's like he's not really pointing the fingers about what Manchester United need to catch City up over the last few interviews he's done.
That's the biggest thing right now. All we care about as football fans, how do we catch City? I must admit, I watched their game the other day. Top draw, beating Madrid like that. That's the level, and you have to applaud them. They're doing really well. But we do have a manager right now, and if we do give him the right investment and back him, which I think most fans are behind him, we can close that gap. I watched Jay on his show the other day talking about selling some players and getting a budget, buying Harry Kane, buying that goalkeeper, that Belgian goalkeeper, and a couple others. And I think that's the guy. Yeah, I couldn't pronounce his name. And you had the guy from Southampton as well, who could be getting relegated. Youngster, 18-year-old. And it's good business. I think, yeah, you made a lot of sense, even though people were giving you pelters in the comments about certain players. But I do think the manager has got his wish list. And I think we should back him. It's like, if you do really well, you've got to back someone and say, all right, this is why with lottery money, with athletes, for example, you do really well, you'll continue to get lottery money, and we refund you, and then you're going to get your gold medals and your medals and rewards. And I think with Ten Hag, he's proven himself. He's proven himself to me. I think we need to back him. He's got a good system of football. He's disciplined. He's the best manager, I feel, going forward for us for a long, long time. So they need to sort out the situation. He sorted out the stuff on the pitch. He's done his job. If we get top 4, I'm saying it's early, but if we get top 4, he's done his job. We've got a trophy. He's done his job. He proved himself. He stepped up and delivered. Now, the board and the owners and all that, sort out your stuff, man, and sort out the club so we can get transfers in, so we can get things done early. Because this was supposed to be done by March. We're now like mid-May, 20th of May coming up. It was the 19th, 20th of May. And still we're debating about this thing. And I know Mr. B's getting bored talking about this. I'm sure Jay is tired talking about this over and over again, But it has to be settled soon because, like I say, as football fans, we are on the cusp of something good. When Tottenham are doing really well and they didn't back their manager, they've gone downhill and they're not doing so well anymore. You have to strike while the iron's hot. And I think it would be a shame if we missed out on good transfers based on the good momentum we've got coming into this summer.
Yeah, thank you very much. And on that note, would you mind going through some of these comments, please, guys? 46 in the chat. If you're new to the channel, please give us a like, share, and subscribe. I just love it. You know what? It's nice. It's nice being back. It's nice being back. I gotta say, it's nice being back.
OMONDI, go and find the needle in the haystack, please, mate.
I know exactly. There's so many comments. Just want to say big up to Viking Red. I haven't seen you for a while. He said my AFC mate says Kroenke would have a bit of Sheikh Jassim hand off that offer. I can't read correctly. I've been laughing too much. Saying here. Anoline saying here, I personally don't like Sir Jim. If we get Ratcliffe, there's another 20 years of mental illness at Old Trafford. So he's not happy with that. Viking Red saying, Sir Jim's 70. He's acting like he's going to live forever. A bit like Prince Charles, isn't it, being set up right now. Red or Dead, how you doing, man? Welcome to the channel. City owners have set a bar. We need Qatari investment, new stadium, plus profits back into the club. We need to compete at the top. That's the spirit. I like that. I like that talk. Tyrone Williams saying Glazers don't care about love. They have nothing but hatred. So don't be surprised if they decide to go for a minority investment. They are despicable. Who used to say that? Despicable and spit. One of the cartoon characters. One of the bad guys. I'm trying. It will come to me. Danny, how you doing? A lot of media love for Ratcliffe, who in a time where affordable living went up, his company made 29.7 billion with greenwashing, hardly a clean owner. Both have issues, only want the Glazers out. So there you go. We get a balanced view here. And Aaron, how you doing? Welcome to the agenda. It's my last comment, by the way. He's saying the Glazers don't care about the club or the fans. They only care about lining their own pockets. Just big up to DK Wilson. He's saying we're freezing. I think he's talking about the Wi-Fi. Yeah. And Danny, last one again, sorry. The fact that United can't continue their transfer business, no matter who comes in independently, shows how badly United are run. United should, with their revenue, have enough to buy their targets anyway. There you go.
Thank you, guys. 42 in the chat. If you're new to the channel, please give us a like, share, and a subscribe. And I'm going to pick on Jay now again. Jay, Phil Jones, emotional farewell, wrote a sort of a little lullaby to the fans.
What? He did what?
Write a little lullaby.
A lullaby.
Yeah. Not a lollipop, a lullaby. Not a lollipop. He wrote a letter to the fans. He's been at Man United now for 12 years. Under Jose, he played, I think he probably played most of the games with Sir Alex Ferguson and also with Jose. Jose believed in him as well a bit. But he's declined, obviously, injury after injury. He declined his testimonial as well at Manchester United. He's had a lot of criticism. And again, this is what we're talking about this channel and on this show today with the Glazers. And some of it is the mismanagement of it as well. Some of it you would probably look at and say it's the manager that gave him that new contract. But in theory, it's the owners of the club who gave him that long contract after he played probably about 5 or 6 good games.
Well, yeah, I think it was we were looking at this in 2019. It was under Ollie. I think when Ollie was the caretaker. So I don't even think it could have been Ollie's decision. I think it was more like an Ed Woodward decision to extend his contract by 3 years or 4 years to 2023, obviously now. And he was 27 at the time. So you can kind of look at it and go, okay, he was 27. He was in the first team. You probably thought he was going to play a lot of football between now and the end of that contract. The problem was it was too much. We paid him too much. So when he stopped playing, you couldn't move him on because no one else was going to pay those wages. And also he had those injury issues. And I kind of felt sorry for Phil Jones a little bit because he just missed, like, what was it, 2 years almost of football. Came back for the Wolves game last season, the Liverpool game. The Wolves game went okay. I think he did well. The Liverpool game, he got subbed at half time. I think we were, 3-0 down by that time. And then I think he had a substitute appearance in the game against Brentford. But his United career has been over for about 2.5 years, really. So it is a bit sad. There was a time when he was at Blackburn. I remember seeing him at Blackburn when he was 18, 19. He looked like he was going to be one of the best defenders ever. He really did. He was that good. And United paid a little bit of money for him for a youngster. Did well at first. Won us a title. Helped win us a title. And then sort of didn't really hit the consistent heights he promised to hit when he was a kid at Blackburn. So, listen, I hope he finds a new club. I wish him well. We've heard he's had issues as well, not just physical, but mental issues in terms of his mental health. So I hope he, gets better, gets fit, gets a club, and I hope it's not the end of his football career. And I think we can just file Phil Jones under one of those players that did, a good job for a while, but probably wasn't as good as we needed him to be for most of his United career.
Amanda, with that, you're normally the defense of the defenders. Phil Jones, as what Jay just touched on, it's been probably very unlucky with the injury and things like that. But Sir Alex Ferguson tipped him as probably the next United captain or even England captain. And he's been under since Sir Alex Ferguson, I think about 4 or 5 different managers. And obviously with the mental issue he's had behind the scene and also with the injury, it does take a toll as a footballer on you as well.
Yeah, didn't you say he related him to Duncan Edwards? Or said he's sort of similar to Duncan Edwards? I'm sure he said something along them lines. But Phil Jones, I must say, I watched his. There was some 6-minute footage of him going around the club with his daughters, and he was presented with a nice photo album thing from Darren Fletcher. I'm getting his name, Darren Fletcher. And Darren Fletcher was saying he was a great player. He played with him, obviously. He said, called him a great player. And like you said, Alex Ferguson hyped him up. And we're saying here that he was at Blackburn and he was like the superstar, next big thing to come through. I just think it's such a shame, isn't it? When you see footballers, he must feel so sad now, coming to an end. It's a short game. You only get like 7, 8, 9, 10 years to really do something. He started young. He got promoted to a big club. And unfortunately, things didn't go well for him. I feel sorry for him. I was just looking at him, and he looks in great shape, to be honest. He looks like a big specimen of a man who can still play football. I don't know how bad his injuries are, but I really do wish him well. I know Mr. B I'm going to steal this one from you, Mr. B, because you shared this. You said that he turned down a testimonial, and that's really honourable of him, because maybe he doesn't feel he deserves it. Or maybe I've heard him, this is what really worries me. He said something along the lines of, why would I have a testimonial when only my parents would turn up? And it's heartbreaking, isn't it? Because you think, actually, he did win a title for us. He has been around the club. We might be critical of him. I have in the past as well as a player, and also why he keeping on the books when he's not playing, that kind of thing. But I do feel for the guy, and he sort of played to my heartstrings. And I really think about it. I think, man, you might have good dough. You might have earned a lot of money in football, but really you want to be winning things. You want to be the man or fulfill your potential. That's what you want to do. And unfortunately, he hasn't been able to do that through circumstances like injury and other stuff, maybe mental health as well. So I say credit to the guy. I wish him well. I also say this, as a young defender, centre-back is a key position. And centre-backs have to be leaders. They have to be like giants. They have to be take a lot of criticism, because if you can see the goal, they're always looking to you. You have to win your headers. You have to get low and dirty. You have to be rough and tough. And it's a lot of responsibility. And I think he didn't have someone, when we had all these great partnerships prior to him, he come along, and the next thing you know, he's got a guy who's playing non-league football, turn up at Fulham and being his main partner, and who's the leader? Smalling wasn't a real talker. Phil Jones wasn't. I don't know. I think he needed at that stage of his career someone to sort of lead him, a bit like John Terry had Carvalho and Desai. There wasn't no one like Rio or Vidic around, I don't believe, to really steer Phil Jones and make him a giant of a player, which you need to be in that position. So I do feel for him. It's just unfortunate, and I wish him all the best. And I will, wherever he goes, I will follow his career and support him. He's had good credentials. The only thing I would say about his game, which maybe didn't develop, he wasn't. I never thought I saw him as a composed defender. He used to get the ball, it's like rush, and you can see by the facials that he used to make as well. It's like, I have to do well, and I'm going in for this, and just calm it down. You know, some defenders need to be calm on the ball, calm in breathe, relax, no matter what you're under. You know, but he always seemed like 100 miles an hour, rush, slow it down, man, and chill.
Yeah, Mr. B, coming to you now. Obviously, Jay and obviously Omondi alluded to sort of what centre-back should be like at Manchester United with Phil Jones, and some of the comments as well saying he's too nice. He was too much of a nice person. But what did you make of Phil Jones' career at Manchester United?
He did okay. My memory's short. I'm looking at the last bit of it, to be fair. Everybody's saying how great Phil Jones was and what a lovely club man he was. I've got one for you. When Varane came in, he wanted the number 4 shirt. Phil Jones had it, and Varane hasn't had it since. So I'm going to expect Varane to get the number 4 shirt. Just out of curiosity, how much of a team player was that situation? He wasn't going to play anyway. So why was he holding on to the shirt? So there's a lot of people, he was a nice guy. Maybe he wasn't. You know, he's been there for 12 years. I understand injuries have kept him there. And let's be honest, nobody's going to leave a contract, especially if they know he's not going to play. On Monday, you're talking about hoping to see him play for another club. Guarantee you he's done. He won't be playing I don't think he's going to play football again. I think he sat down there, picked up the money because he knew he wasn't going to be playing again. And he's now going to maybe go into punditry or coaching.
Me and you had this conversation earlier. I think if Everton get relegated, he's going to be at Everton. I honestly believe we've got Everton. I think Everton wanted him for a period of time over probably, I said, last 2 seasons. But for some reason or another, he wasn't let go to Everton, whether or not that was his decision or the club decision. But I think he might go to Everton. Another thing for me with Phil Jones, 31 years old now, I think, in my opinion, I think Phil Jones will bounce back from all of these problems with him, and he'll be a top coach in the next, say, 5-6 years' time. Jay, any take on that?
Not really. I don't know what evidence you've got to suggest he's going to be a top coach.
He'll be a top coach.
He might be. I've not seen anything on the pitch where I think that's someone personally or in interviews or whatever where he shows me he's got that in him to be a coach. I don't know if he has or not. So I'm not going to say you're wrong, but there's no evidence for me to say that I look at Phil Jones and go, he's going to be the next Jose Mourinho or whatever. I don't know, to be honest with you. I've seen him in interviews. I've met him once. I've seen him on the pitch. He seems a little bit quiet, to be honest with you. Maybe he could do that. Michael Carrick was quiet on the pitch, but he read the game very well. And he's been a fantastic manager at Middlesbrough and very unlucky as well. But yeah, I'm not sure. I look at Phil Jones and go, he could be a top coach. Maybe he will. There's just not any evidence of it for me.
Fair days. Omondi, Mr. B, could you see him take a coaching role going into it, or I've got to come to you, Mr. B, because I know you like
you could ask me the question. I'm already shaking my. I told you already. He's going to disappear. We're not going to see any more of Phil Jones.
Listen, every time there's a vacancy, all of a sudden that old manager will pop up. That will be Phil Jones soon. He will just pop up on Sky. Next thing you know, he's got a managerial job. That will happen.
We'll see.
What is it, Errol, that makes you think he'll be a good coach? Just out of curiosity.
For me, with Phil Jones, I just think to myself, like, for me, I look at him differently. I look at from his demeanor and stuff like that. I think he could be one of those players who's very unlucky for his career, but then will end up as a good manager. When you look at Pep Guardiola was a good player, but he was so injury prone. Yeah. And it was, I know you're laughing, but I think he will be. I think he will be. I think
you got your heart is so big. Your heart is so big.
I just want the best of Phil Jones.
Errol, if that don't get clipped up, you're living a charmed life, bro. A charmed life. If you've just sat there with a straight face and said that you see like Pep Guardiola and you think Phil Jones could do that, bro, seriously, that is, Errol, I love you, yeah, you're a top guy, but that is one of the most outrageous statements I have ever heard in my life. I look at Phil Jones, genuinely, you said this with a straight face, and I think, yeah, he could do a Pep Guardiola. Brother,
I'm not saying,
check the carbon monoxide levels in your gaff. Something's going down.
Sorry, can I try and save you?
Go on Monday.
Maybe, right, with footballers, frustrated footballers, Brian Clough, his career ended quite early. He went into football management. Ryan Mason, the guy at Spurs, his career ended early. He's gone into football management. We've got, who's the guy at Bournemouth from Newcastle now? Don Howe's son. He used to play for
Eddie Howe.
Yeah, he retired quite early as well. And then when they retire, they do their coaching badges and all that kind of thing. I've had no indication that Phil Jones is doing coaching badges. It was suggested before on the channel that maybe he's still kept on because maybe he's going to become a coach at the club or have some sort of role at the club that's been set up for him. We don't know what he's like behind the scenes. Maybe he is a good coach or good with young players, whatever. We don't know. We've seen a lot of ex-players, Nicky Butt, for example. He was a really good coach and with the youngsters, that kind of thing. Mark Hughes was never expected to be a great manager. And for a period of time, he done okay, you know. Brian Robson, one of the best players I've ever seen. You expect him to be a great manager. Bobby Charlton, you expected him to be a great manager. All these guys, you just don't know how it's gonna turn out for these guys. But I will say, if your career finishes early and you might feel, all right, I've missed out on my playing career. Maybe you want to give back as a manager or coach. Some people have that desire, but I don't know with Phil Jones. We just don't know. We're speculating.
Yeah, I'm speculating at the moment, but I think
I'm gonna put it out there, right? I'm gonna stick my neck out and say Phil Jones is not gonna have anything remotely close to a managerial career of Pep Guardiola. Right? You can say that, you can clip that up, and you can come back at me in 20 years' time, and I guarantee you I'll be right. Yeah. If we're sat here in 10 years' time as Phil Jones is leading United to a treble, then I'll stand corrected. But I think there's more chance of me and Mr. B getting a job of advertising shampoo than there is of Phil Jones becoming the next Pep Guardiola. Brother, that's too much.
I'm just saying, what I was saying was...
That's the first time I've ever been on a video and been scared, man. That scared me when you were saying the words. I was scared for you. I thought, wow. This guy, is he okay?
It's about the early retirement. That's what I'm talking about, the injury. But
so basically, you're saying a Monday, right? Bless him. A Monday did that thing of like, you know, you do when your kids say something and you try and like, all right, okay. Yeah, all right, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you sort of pat them on the head and that. Yeah. Maybe one day we will be able to fly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, the Tooth Fairy is going to come tonight. Yeah. Like one of them ones. But bro, if I were you, right, I'd change the thumbnail on this video to "Is Phil Jones the next Pep Guardiola?" Put Man City in the tags. Tag a few City fans in it and watch them sweet views come rolling in.
Listen, I might do that, you know. No, I'm joking. I won't do that. Phil Jones.
Do you know what I love about that as well? You were so convincing. You were so serious. It wasn't like sometimes when someone's saying something outrageous, you can tell in their eyes like they know they're saying something like a little bit. But you was like serious and like, yeah, you know, I look at him and you look at Pep Guardiola. And I'm thinking, what? Did he just say Pep Guardiola? And you look at them and you think, career injury, yeah, I can see him doing that. I'm like, no.
Know.
Yes, you do. You do know. Right? You do know. Phil Jones, right? Let's not make this a debate. Phil Jones is not going to be the next Pep Guardiola, right? He's just not.
No, he could be the next
Nobody.
Big Sam.
Oh god.
He could be the next Big Sam.
Bro.
You never know. You never know.
Errol, you've excelled yourself with that one.
Oh,
Honestly.
that's it. I'm finished now.
I'm going to wake up in the morning, right? I swear to God, I'm going to wake up in the morning. And as soon as I open my eyes, I'm going to think about what you said. That's the first thing that's going to come into my head. I'm going to think, did he really say that last night?
JR Jones, the new Pep. Do a poll.
Oh, brilliant. But we let Jay go.
Wait, Errol, you kill me, man. That's class. That is different class.
Well, listen, I'm going to back Phil Jones. That's it. I'm there with it.
I love the fact you didn't go for like, I don't know, a Mickey Phelan or someone like that. You know, I could see him doing a bit of a, do you know what I mean? Like a little bit of a Mark Robbins or something. Like you went for like arguably the best manager working right now.
No, but I was going to roll. I was rolling the rest of the managers off who was injured. Like, you know, I was going to talk about Lely King as well, what he's doing as well. You know,
he's not in management. He's not in management, though, is he?
He's in a coaching road. He's in a coaching
road.
Yeah, but
what is he doing? What is you going to come now? You're going judge. Oh, Solo.
You know what?
No. What I'm saying he's a coach. At the moment,
you talk about expectation now on this young man, Phil Jones. He was told he's going to be the next Duncan Edwards. And now, when he's finished his career, he was told by you he's going to be the next Pep Guardiola. That's big expectations.
Listen, I hope he lives up to it.
We'll see. Well, we never know.
Phil Jones has had some hype, hasn't he, man? He's had some hype. Fergie said he could be our best ever player. Like Omondi said, Bobby Charlton who said he compared him to Duncan Edwards or something? And now you're saying he could be the next Pep Guardiola.
Oh dear.
Oh. Right, we're gonna hit some few comments there, if that's all right. I'm on there with you.
Start with Donk. How you doing, Donk? Welcome to the channel. He said, hey guys, you're doing great. Enjoy the channel. Love Jay on the paddock. He's hilarious. Boys, if Shitty or City do the treble, I'm gonna have to hibernate for 12 months. Great content. Keep up the good work and Glazers out. Hashtag. Big up, Donk. How you doing, man? Thank you. Let's go for some comments here. Mr. B might die from laughing. Yes, it's very funny in here right now. King Dino, how you doing? He said, I said that with a touch of sarcasm because he said here, Jay is definitely getting a job advertising shampoo and conditioner. I like that line, Mr. B and Jay. Clough went into management early when he got injured as a young player, says Tyrone, but Jones hasn't got that in him, in my opinion, and everyone else's opinion, I'm sure. DK Wilson, how you doing? Exactly, I totally agree. I'm surprised the club didn't issue a contract termination due to medical issues, and terminate his contract would pay off to free up some space for future transfer dough, possibly. Tyrone again saying Alex Ferguson was a great manager, but even he got things wrong. Comparing Jones to Duncan Edwards was a huge mistake. His best performance was against Rooney playing for Blackburn. And Bart saying Jones for Ipswich or Wrexham. Didn't we have the coach go to Ipswich who was the guy who came from Spurs? He went to manage Ipswich recently, done all right over there.
It's
Kieran McKenna, is it?
Oh, Kenna.
McKenna.
Did they come up? I don't even know if they came up or not. Did they come up, Ipswich?
I'm not sure, but they're a big club. They should. I'd like to see them up in the Championship. Michael saying, hey, Michael, how you doing? Jones is going to teach players how to sit on their asses while they're a long-term contract at 100k a week. He'll come out with one of those 10 steps to success books. I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to be ripping Phil Jones all day. But yeah, that's the end. It's been emotional.
Oh, brilliant. Jay, thank you so much as always. I think, Jay, with the comedy show tonight, his camera's tilt back a little bit.
Do you know what? I've slumped in my chair, bro. I'm like, I'm tempted to ring. What's the emergency number? Is it 111? I'm like, can you help my friend? I worry. Listen, it's all good, and I'll happily eat my words when Phil Jones takes United to their 5th title in a row. But always love coming on the channel. Love chatting to you solo. Just make sure you get the help you need, bro. And if you're not doing, subscribe to this channel. Seriously.
Oh, thank you, Jay. Appreciate it, guys. Listen, thanks to everyone who tuned in tonight. 46 in the chat, guys. If you're new to the channel, please give us a like, share, and a subscribe. And Mr. B, can you tell us what's going on later on? Because there's more to go after the show.
Shit. Yeah, half hour. We've got a preview show about the Bournemouth United game. You'll have my own unique take on it, to be fair. What's that, half hour away? So if you are new to the channel, look, hit the notification bell. Even if you don't watch it tonight, just watch it in the morning before the game. It's all good.
Thank you. Thank you. And as always, I'd like to say, Jay, as always, been a pleasure always having you on the channel. I'm not going to go to Mr. B on Monday. On Monday did try to defend me a little bit, so I'm definitely going to Mr. B. He didn't defend me. He was just laughing. He was just laughing. But now, on a serious note, guys, thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thanks to Jay, Monday, and Mr. B. As always, I've been Solo, and join Mr. B at 10 p.m. tonight as he go live to preview Bournemouth versus Man United. 3 points is a must. Jay, 3 points. What do you see with this performance? Because our away record is so poor. Should be an easy win, shouldn't it?
In theory, I think Bournemouth are safe now. I think they got 39 points, which is enough, I believe. It can go either way. That can sort of make you relaxed and make you play good football and not worrying. They gave us a game at Old Trafford. Don't get it twisted. They did for a good 40 minutes, gave us a real game. But I'd expect United to be too strong for them. I said a few weeks ago, I said we'd lose the Brighton game, but I thought we'd win. I said we'd lose the West Ham game. Sorry, the last game we lost. Was it West Ham or Brighton? I forget.
Right.
Which one.
West Ham, wasn't it? Yeah, West Ham.
Yeah, I said I thought we'd lose that one, but I thought we'd win the rest of them. We've obviously beat Wolves last week. I think we'll beat Bournemouth. I think we'll beat Chelsea. And I think we'll beat Fulham and get top 4.
Brilliant. That'll be a successful season as well. Top 4
and
a trophy. And still
100%.
Wembley to go. Still Wembley to go as well. But guys, from us on the Money Agenda, thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And we'll see you at 10 p.m. as well. From us, good night.